Cautionary story time. I want to talk about the importance of a contract template, both if you are the person that is the freelancer or the small business, but also you as the client. So first, let me highlight the client side, because that's where this version of cautionary story time comes in, but I'm going to expand upon that. So there was this company that I was trying to work with, and they purport to do various kinds of things within the film space, right? And when we were talking, I was like, okay, all this sounds good, and I'm not their first client, right? This is like literally what they do with other clients. And I said, okay, send over your standard contract and we'll go from there. Because it's not like what we were discussing was outside of the normal scope of everything that they do. And they didn't have that. That's a major red flag for me, because, okay, if you do this every day, why don't you have a standard contract, right? Why would I now have to be the one to spend legal fees and stuff like that to draft something when you do this every day? Like, what are your rates? What's your process? All this stuff, right? And it didn't make sense. So that was a big, big red flag. And I've seen people take those types of deals. Like, the way it should work is they send a contract to you, you and your legal team can review it, make red lines, stuff like that, but then send it back to them. Like, they should have that starting position. So, the caution is, be wary of people who say they do something, on a consistent basis, part of their services, but don't have templates in place. That's just sloppy. So now, let's take it conversely. If you are a freelancer, if you are a small business, whatever else, and like you have these services that you offer, have template contracts in place. Because number one, right, it's not just to protect yourself, but it's to make your professional life easier. Why would you want to have to create a contract every single time with a new client? That just wastes so much time and effort. So let's talk about what sort of a contract, like, of course it's going to be based on like what you're looking for, but these are kind of the general things that I think most people would need within like a template contract. So the scope of work, delivery and timeline, payment terms, revision policies, kill fee or cancellation clause, intellectual property ownership, credit attribution, legal/venue language. So it's, if in case of dispute, where is this being held? In California or some other state, like where, right? So these sorts of things. So it doesn't have to be overly complicated, but it should have that language, right? And really be clear. Like, oftentimes people look at contracts as a nuisance, right? It's like, oh, we understand each other, we work together. No, even with your friends and stuff like that, even for a small project, at least just like a one page, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what I expect of you. This is what you expect of me. It's good to go, right? So these are some of the things. And in fact, these are the things that I thought of, but as just like an exercise, comment down below with stuff that you feel might be needed in a contract, right? I'd be curious to know from your perspective what might be missing or what I might be overlooking. So, now let's talk about why you should have a template, right? So you're a small business, you're a freelancer. Number one, as I alluded to, speed and efficiency. You can onboard new clients very quickly without starting from scratch. So there's that, and it gives you a consistency, right? You won't forget key terms and protections, and you don't have to keep wasting legal fees to draft up something each and every time. Now, of course, you can revise it. It's just a template. It's a starting position, but it's like, here's the base of how you usually operate, and beyond that, you can make adjustments based on the specific needs of a client. And that signals, by having that, it signals a professionalism, right? That you take your work seriously and you will deliver for them. So to that effect, that's why I mentioned cautionary story time at the top because when someone, if you are the client and are working with somebody, if they don't have that in place, it tells me they're not professional. They might claim to do X, Y, and Z, but that's a major red flag. So the other sort of aspect of why you should have one, negotiation clarity. It's easier to adjust, as I talked about, from a contract than to draft one on the fly. And, in terms of it all, right, it gives you protection when things go south. Like, instead of having to redraft it every time, you have all the stipulations in place, first and foremost. And the nice part is, I would encourage you, like, sometimes based on new clients and experiences, you might have to adjust your template based on that experience. I'm like, oh, this happened to me and I want to avoid that in the future. So let me add that into my template contract so I can avoid that for the future. One of the things, like for me, when it comes to payment, I, in my contracts, have a clause that essentially if I don't get paid within 45 days, I start tacking on interest to that. So that way I don't get paid late, but if I do, then, there's interest being accrued on it. So that's significant to me. And I learned to add that, based off experience, because I didn't have that initially. And then it's like, you know what? I should add that. And moving forward, all my contracts have that. So, there you have it in terms of why and how, in terms of why you should have a template contract, So I hope this gives you some clarity, gives you a kick in the butt if you are a freelancer to make sure you have this in place. And also just, again, that caution that if you are a client, to be wary of people who don't have these things in place. Thank you as always for taking the time to tune in. I truly do appreciate you. If you want to dive deeper into the subject matter, I write about it in my Substack, so that is available for you as well in written form. So go check that out if you so choose to. Thank you so much. I truly do appreciate it. See you next time.